What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Mike. I'm a full-time media seller. Today's video is an exciting one that I probably should have made a while back, but I kind of want to just refresh everybody here and kind of give advice for people that are just starting out, wanting to sell media on Amazon through Amazon FBA or fulfilled by merchants. So I got a little list here of things we're going to cover in this video to direct people that are new or maybe only a few months into this business, this endeavor, into the right direction so they actually can get results and understand that there are certain expectations that come with starting an Amazon business. It's just not, you don't do nothing and you make a whole bunch of money. So we're going to cover that in this video. If you're interested in being around like-minded media sellers like myself, join the YouTube channel, $2.99 a month. We got now a monthly eBay coaching call, probably going to move it to every 2 weeks. So we got 2 monthly eBay coaching calls, basically weekly Amazon coaching calls, a private Discord, tons of members only content on the channel as well. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. All right, I got an amazing list here. You see the page is pretty blank, but this is all in my mind here. I've been thinking about this lately because I've been seeing an influx of newer people wanting to try this, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, in my opinion, when it comes to starting a book or media business on Amazon. So the first thing we're going to cover here as a new person, or maybe you've been doing this for a while, is software. It's like the most oversaturated thing you see out there. Every video you watch, there's probably somebody telling you to sign up for a different software. So if you're going to be selling used media, books, CDs, DVDs, you are going to need a scanning app, right? So you got Scout IQ or Scoutly. Those are the main two you see out there, and you have to choose one. Now, this is a personal choice. They're both basically the same scanning app. For me, Scoutly is the one I use because it allows you to see your fulfilled by merchant and your fulfilled by Amazon profit on the same screen. Scout IQ is a little bit different, but the apps basically work the same. So I prefer Scoutly. You do need one of these apps if you're going to actually give this business a real shot. I do have a trigger set basically set up. So when you sign up for these apps, they have default trigger sets. Scout IQ and Scoutly say, hey, we got this default trigger set for you. Well, I'm here to tell you, both apps, the default trigger sets are garbage. Do not use them. Please, please, please go watch my, my trigger video. And because if you go use these default trigger sets, you're scanning stuff that's going to make you $1 profit, $2 profit, when in reality, that's probably not what it's going to be by the time it gets checked in. Do not use the default trigger sets. It's not allowed, right? So go copy my trigger sets, understand what you're looking at when it comes to data. So that covers the scanning port, right? So you got your, your scanner. That's another thing. Bluetooth scanner. I don't have mine on me, but you're gonna need a Bluetooth scanner because scanning with your phone, it's not efficient, right? So I highly recommend going on the eBay, buying an eYoYo, buying a Nadamu, buying whatever scanner that's out there for you. So you got your Scout app, Scoutly, right? And then you got your scanner. All the scanning apps usually come with a 30-day free trial, right? So you can try it out, see if you like it, see if you can get results in those first 30 days and go from there. Remember, you're gonna set up your own trigger set as well. We're not using a default one. Copy my one from my latest video and you'll be much better off, I promise you. So that covers the scanning software. And listen, I'm not saying sign up for an Amazon account. Listen, everybody knows you got to sign up for an Amazon account to sell, but that gets you into the next software, right? Listing software. One of those things where, hey, you don't want to spend a lot of time listing your stuff through Amazon Seller Central. Well, I did that for years. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and it's free, right? You don't have to pay for another software. So you either can go the route of listing it through Amazon Seller Central, or you can get a listing software, right? There's tons of listing softwares out there. You have, the newest and, one that's kind of geared towards book selling and media selling. Go-To-Lister, right? That's somebody, Romer, he had a book business and now he decided to develop a software specifically around people that sell media and quantity. That's a great option you can do. You have the Inventory Labs, you have Scanlist. There are so many listing softwares. I really don't think you can go wrong. They all work the way they should. And if you have Scoutly, it actually comes with Turbo Lister for free, but it's not the greatest, right? So I would say, listing software isn't necessary at the beginning, but if you're like, hey, you know what, I want to make my life a little bit easier, go for it. I just gave you plenty of options. So that kind of covers the software, right? You need your scanning app is a must. Scout IQ or Scoutly. You need your trigger set up correctly, because when you're out scanning, you want to make sure your data you're getting is actually correct and makes sense. You don't want to buy stuff that's really not worth it. So listing software, if you want to make your life a little bit easier, that covers the software part, right? We don't need any other fancy things. We get all the information basically from the scouting app. Now, the biggest one, the biggest non-talked about misconception out there is you buy this used book, right? You got this used book and you scan it and it says you're going to make $20 and it's going off the buy box. So what is the buy box? Why is this the biggest thing that really isn't talked about? So when somebody's on Amazon shopping, the buy box, and now they call it featured offer eligible, it's the same thing as the buy box. So when somebody hits buy now, that's your item, right? So when you start out selling in these categories, whether it's used books, used DVDs, used CDs, you have to attain the buy box in those categories. So if you're brand new, you're not going to be buy box eligible. And this is very deflating for a lot of people, because when they start out, they send in 100 books, they send in 200, 300, 400, 500 books, and they're like, hey, where are the sales? Well, until you get the buy box, you're really not going to have an actual look at what the business can potentially do. And I like to think about it, when you don't have the buy box, you're probably getting 10 to 20% of the sales you actually would if you had the buy box. And plenty of people over in the Discord can attest to this, right? Going from no buy box to having the buy box, all of a sudden you're like, hey, this is it. Amazon's the game to play, right? All of a sudden you got all these sales coming in. So starting out, Mike, how do I even know if I am featured offer eligible in those categories? This is a great question I get all the time. I'm gonna pop some screenshots up here for you, right? So you're gonna go to your manage all inventory page. You're gonna go to active, little bubble up top, Amazon, little bubble up top, and then you're gonna see a column that says featured offer eligible. It's gonna say yes or no. Well, a lot of you are probably like, Mike, I don't see this column, right? Where's this column at? Well, if you look up to the top right, there's a preference button. You hit preference, it'll take you into what columns you can and can't see. So most of you out there probably don't have that column showing currently in your manage all inventory page. So you're gonna go into the preferences, you're gonna check off the featured offer eligible box, save that down bottom, boom, go back to your main page. All right, now you're gonna see that column and it's gonna say yes or no. So no means you don't have the buy box yet. Yes means you are good to go. This can change from day to day, but once you have it, it is pretty hard to lose it, but you can lose it. And it's been happening more lately than it ever has before. So how do I go about achieving the buy box? There's no set formula. Me or anybody else that tries to tell you, hey, this is the exact way to get the buy box, is a lie, because Amazon has never stated exactly how to achieve the buy box. Some tips that I always give that seem to work out, we kind of been experimenting with this for years behind the scenes, is you always want to have a few items merchant fulfilled, right? You always want to make sure you're fulfilling the slower moving stuff. And starting out, I highly recommend you are only sending in fast moving inventory and you are pricing at the lowest FBA price. So this allows people, you might not be the buy box, but you're still the best prime offer. So you're still going to get sales because you're the lowest FBA price. You're sending in fast moving stuff, so it's always selling, so you're still going to keep the velocity. And Amazon's going to be like, hey, look, this person's selling a whole bunch. They don't have the buy box. All of a sudden, you log in one day, you got a yes. And then we can say, all right, now we're good to go. And then we can change how we're pricing, right? We're going to price at the buy box instead of the lowest FBA. But this is the biggest misconception out there. You can't start today and have the buy box. Sure, it could happen in a month, maybe 2, maybe 3. There are examples of people that didn't have the used buy box for 20 months. Listen, if I wouldn't have had the buy box in 20 months, I probably would have quit. But Brian, a member of the Discord, had to wait 20 months to get the buy box and used books. And he's already said he's had it for about 2 weeks now. His sales have never been better. So the misconception is you can go out, scan books, and they're going to sell right away. You have to earn Amazon's trust by becoming buy box eligible, fulfill a few items yourself, send in the fastest moving inventory you can at the beginning of your Amazon journey, and then once you get the buy box, you kind of can adjust your business there. And that's the biggest misconception I see all the time, right? And I'm getting all worked up because nobody really talks about it, and a lot of people start on Amazon and they get frustrated because the sales aren't rolling in. Well, it's because you don't have the buy box. And It's one of those things, it's going to take time to get. There are ways you kind of can manipulate it in your favor, but until that day comes, it's going to be an uphill battle. So that's going to get me into the next one here. We have relationships. Super, super, super important, especially if you're out there and you have nobody else around you, right? Most of us, usually it's just 1 or 2 people operation, you, a friend, you and your girlfriend, you and your wife, you and your husband, something like that. It's hard if you're just out there on social media because there's so much negativity and so much people just dragging other people down, right? And this is one of the big reasons I decided to even create the YouTube membership and have the Discord. Is I really do think putting yourself around like-minded people or people working towards the same goal and in the same kind of business will elevate you to levels you didn't know existed within your business, right? So relationships is really important, and it's kind of one of the reasons I decided to make this video. It's because I'm in a few groups outside of my own Discord, and I always see negative comments on new sellers posts, right? Like, hey, I'm not getting sales, I don't understand what's going on. And people are like, well, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to price, you don't know how to do. Like, it's so much negativity. All I can tell you is block out the noise. Cover your ears, earmuffs, everybody, cover your ears. If I listened to everybody along the way that gave me some kind of business advice or told me I was stupid for doing books, stupid for selling DVDs, stupid for... Who buys DVDs anymore, Mike? Nobody listens to CDs. I mean, how many of these people are out there? And if that's all you have to lean on, you're not gonna last, because the negativity will drag you down and ruin your productivity and ruin your mindset. Getting yourself around like-minded people is super important when it comes to that relationship side of it. But building relationships, thrift stores, libraries, Craigslist, Facebook, Nextdoor, free pickup ads, we'll remove your books for free, save them from the landfills. Great way to start. You get the inventory for nothing. That gives you a whole lot more wiggle room when it comes into pricing, what you're going to send in, what you're not going to send in. Listen, all this library stuff I have here, yes, library, I don't care if people say I pronounce it wrong. I got all of this. I have this library connection I got from my Craigslist ad. I get a free library pickup every month for the rest of my life. All because someone responded to my Craigslist ad. If that doesn't motivate you to put out a stupid Craigslist ad that'll take you 2 minutes to do, I even have templates in the Discord. You can just copy paste all my stuff. Like, then this isn't for you. It does take some work, but relationships are super important. Backroom access at thrift stores, I have a few. Libraries, volunteer at the library, help set up the book sale. A lot of these book sales will let the people help set up shop before it's even open to the public. There's so many different ways you can build this business, and relying on thrift stores, walking into thrift stores, sure, when you start out it might seem feasible, but as you try to scale, you're going to learn quick, hey, the thrift stores aren't getting inventory quick enough for me to be able to continue to send in 5 boxes a week to Amazon. So relationships are a huge part. The last thing I want to cover is the time frame. I kind of hit on this with the buy box, but I just wanted to kind of shore this away. Selling used media on Amazon is not an overnight gonna make you 10, 20, 30K your first month. It's not even gonna make you $1,000 your first month. You have to treat this as a long-term play. I'm not talking years, but I think about this all the time. Like, how long until you see actual results on Amazon? Well, I'm probably gonna say 6 months. You have to realize you need to get the buy box. You need to have probably 1,000+ items in your inventory, unless you have super good quality stuff in your area. Then you can get away with lower, but most of us are going to want to have at least 1,000 in inventory. And you have to just accept the fact that they say it all the time, right? Nothing good comes easy, and Amazon is just another one that falls into that. Thankfully, when I started, there wasn't as much content out there. I didn't even know what the buy box was. So now you guys all have the information to kind of see where you need to be, see where to grow. And I'm telling you, it's possible to easily do 6 figures on Amazon with media if you have a realist expectation. This takes a lot of work, right? It's going to be 95 degrees today. I'm in the storage unit. I got to get through all this stuff. It's not just going to thrift stores. It's not just what you see on social media, right? You just see me at the thrift store once a week making a $500, $1,000. That's not really the case. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scene. There's a lot of bookkeeping. There's a lot of work that goes on. And just realize you're starting a business, right? This isn't a hobby. You want to take this seriously. You want to level up your game. You want to pay off your debts. You want this to be your only income. You want to quit CVS because they suck as a company. You got to treat it like that, right? You got to be like, all right, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do whatever it takes to change my situation. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. It's going to take a lot of work, but if you hustle, you do it right, you put yourself around other like-minded people, the sky's the limit. And I don't say that just because I do it, right? I say it because I know people out there that are doing it, right? And there's plenty of people that just started in the Discord. People have been doing it for years. Everybody's at some point, and the one contributing factor of all of us is we're taking the action. We're doing it. We understand we're not going to get the buy box right away. We understand, hey, it's going to take a few months to get results if we're brand new. You have that real expectation, then you don't have to worry about all the nonsense and all the noise you hear out there. So that's going to do it. Kind of my new Amazon beginner's guide to starting out and having a clear expectation and understanding how the beginnings of an Amazon business works. As always, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more used book videos. Bye-bye.